There's been a huge buzz for this erotic thriller, including a Best Actress nomination at the Golden Globes for Nicole Kidman, tons of critics' year-end lists, including #1 movie of the year on Time Magazine's list. For me, it missed the mark. Let's talk about Babygirl. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my movie review for Babygirl. This is in theaters right now, and it's getting a lot of buzz and some awards love, some critics love, certainly. But this is an interesting one because it is exactly at 50% on the popcorn meter on Rotten Tomatoes, which is the audience. So yeah, with critics maybe a bit higher, but audiences are completely split 50-50 on this thing, and you can count me in the lower half of that 50. We'll talk about the reasons why here momentarily. But first, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a Dan Reviews subscriber already, thank you so much for that. Always love having you guys return. But if you're not one of my subscribers, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Click the notification bell too, so you get the alerts for all my new video drops. I do try to post new stuff just about every day, so there's always a lot going on the channel. Catching up on 2024 movies, going to be starting my 2025 movies soon, and you know, just some other random stuff, and then of course TV stuff as well on the channel. So you can just like this video, comment below as well. That helps the channel out tremendously. All right, Nicole Kidman stars here in a very, good performance, certainly, and we'll talk about that. Was her Golden Globe nomination warranted? I think it was. She and her performance are not the problem here with this film. But she plays a high-powered CEO, putting her career and family on the line, everything that she holds dear, when she begins an affair with a much younger intern played by Harris Dickinson. Antonio Banderas co-stars, as well as Nicole Kidman's husband. Sophia Wilde appears, and a few other people that maybe you know. I didn't quite know where I had seen Harris Dickinson before, but he was in a couple of movies I saw recently. The Iron Claw, which came out at Christmas last year. He was one of the Von Erich brothers there. And more recently, he was in the Apple TV Plus movie Blitz, which was also a bit disappointing. I think they were maybe hoping for some awards love there that I don't think is going to come. But this was written, directed by, and produced by Helena Rain, whose name I was unfamiliar with, but this is through A24, and I just actually talked about a really bad A24 movie, The Front Room, which is available on Max now. But she directed Bodies, 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 which some people really liked. Again, I didn't care for it. So, maybe there's something about her style I don't like, her writing, I don't know. We'll tackle this movie specifically, but Bodies, 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 when I saw that was something she had directed previously, I thought, okay, well, maybe this gal just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. But anyway, so essentially, we have Nicole Kidman here as Romy, who is, running this company. She is the head honcho, basically, and a group of interns comes in, and one that she had previously seen on the street earlier, kind of having stopping this dog from biting this random dude on the street, and she sort of took notice of him. Cute guy, and turns out he is one of the new interns, and he has chosen her as a mentor for the mentorship program. And the two of them, sort of after, a little bit of awkwardness, decide to, okay, let's move forward with the mentorship. And then they move forward in a relationship that she is hiding from, obviously, everybody. But serving some deep-seated desires that she has had for a long, long time. We learn throughout the film that she's never been able to have an orgasm from her husband. This is a very, very sexually frank movie. I will start there. So if you're skittish about that sort of stuff, this is absolutely not the movie for you. And look, maybe critics like that it's taking some swings here. Maybe critics like that there is an A-list actress in Nicole Kidman literally bearing it all. But, look, there needs to be a little more to it than that. We've seen a lot of erotic thrillers that have been great over the years. I think you have to go back to the 80s and 90s to find some of the really great ones, including Fatal Attraction. But recently, it's been a lot harder to come by. And this movie is, to me, an example of why. Because, look, there's some interesting things here that this movie could have to say about power dynamics, female empowerment, female sexuality. There's a lot of things here that they could have dove a little bit deeper into, but as it is, the script is just not there. Some of the lines are laughable. The dialogue is just not that great. There's a lot of whispering in an attempt to be more dramatic than maybe the scene really is. And personally, I didn't really think there was a lot of chemistry between these two leads. Harris Dickinson, he did a good job in The Iron Claw, but look, obviously I didn't quite remember him from that movie. I had to look up what I knew him from. I think his character is poorly written. We have this guy who, clearly wants to take charge of the situation, but he seems to be at once, intimidated, but also, trying to be something he's not. And yet he does end up kind of taking control in certain situations, but then that ends up, kind of falling by the wayside too in certain parts. And so I think his character is a little bit confused. And look, of course you would be in that situation. But I think even internally, he doesn't quite know what he wants. Just the same as Nicole Kidman's character doesn't, Romy. But I think hers is better written. And maybe it's because, Kidman is a wonderful actress and is finding maybe some nuances with this character that weren't quite on the page. I do think that her nomination is warranted for this film. Now, the Golden Globes, there's more than just a handful of nominees because they do the drama category and then they do the comedy or musical category. So they have way more nominees than the Oscars will. Is she going to be up for an Oscar for this movie? Boy, I don't see that happening. I mean, maybe. She's certainly been up for Oscars before. I think she is an Oscar winner, right? But I think for the Golden Globe, sure. But I think in the grander scheme, no. She doesn't deserve an Oscar nomination if there's only going to be 5 or 6 slots for performer. I think she is certainly the best part of this movie, but there were a lot of missed opportunities here, especially with, like I said, kind of discussing a little bit deeper things like power dynamics and, male-female relationships even, with, a younger male, older female. And Nicole Kidman tried her hand at that earlier in the year with a Netflix movie with Zac Efron that I can't quite remember the name of. But that was terrible. This is a little bit better than that because at least it's going for something a little bit different. But it came across as trying too hard, I think, to make something overly sexual that it just didn't quite work for me. And the ending sort of completely falls apart too. So, definitely a great performance. I'll give her that. But this movie offers little else. I give Babygirl a C-. But look, a lot of love for this from critics. It's in the mid-70s on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of critics' year-end lists, like I said. But the audience, 50-50, straight down the middle. And I certainly fall on the lower end of that. So, all right, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.